exercise.
Right. Exercise. We all know it's, good for us, but why? If you ask people, they often say, well, weight control, maybe looking better, general health, fine answers.
But honestly, those answers just scratch the surface. We've gone through a whole pile of research, really solid sources, showing that moving your body isn't just about physical metrics.
Not at all. It might actually be the most powerful tool we have, period, for boosting how your brain works, for managing emotions, even for, well, how long and how well you live.
That's our mission today. We want to get way beyond that surface level chat. We're digging into the specific mechanisms, the how and the why moving consistently genuinely changes, well, pretty much everything about your life.
Yeah, we've pulled out 10 core benefits, all interconnected, and we're going to unpack them, really give you the insights to maybe change how you view movement.
Completely. Think of it less as a chore, more as an investment. Probably the best one you can make.
Couldn't agree more. So let's reframe this. It's not punishment for that slice of cake. It's a privilege. It's potential. And where better to start than the command center itself, the brain.
Let's do it.
Okay, so diving right in. The brain.
Yeah.
How does moving your body directly impact, thinking, focus, all that mental heavy lifting we do every day?
Well, it's pretty immediate, actually. We live in this world, right? Constant demands on our attention, our
So
memory.
information overload.
Exactly. And when we get stuck, can't focus, can't remember that thing, what's the usual reaction?
Reach for more coffee,
Mm.
maybe something sugary. That's the knee-jerk thing for me anyway.
That's what most people do. But the sources we looked at point to something honestly much more effective and way more natural. Just move. Get up and move your body.
Yeah.
Hashtag tag tag 1.1 boosting brain power, the cognitive mechanism.
Okay, move. So what's happening physiologically? What's the first big benefit for, say, thinking clearer?
The absolute foundation is cognitive capacity, your ability to think, learn, remember stuff. And the first mechanism is simple, really. Blood flow.
Circulation. Makes sense.
Yeah, when you exercise, even moderately, you immediately boost blood flow. Not just to your muscles, obviously, but critically to your brain, especially areas like the prefrontal cortex.
Which is like executive function hub, right? Planning, decision making.
Precisely. So you're literally flooding that control center with more oxygen, more nutrients. It's like giving it premium fuel.
Okay, that sounds like a quick win. More fuel, better function right now.
Yeah.
But you mentioned before we started longer term stuff. Like exercise can actually change the structure of the brain. How does that work?
Okay, yeah, this is where it gets really fascinating. Beyond just the immediate plumbing benefits, regular activity triggers the release of this amazing protein. It's called BDNF.
BDNF, brain-derived neurotrophic factor. Heard of it, but break it down. What is it?
Think of it like super potent fertilizer for your brain cells. Seriously.
Fertilizer. Okay, I'm listening. What does this brain fertilizer do?
So BDNF does a couple of crucial things. First, it helps existing neurons survive, keeps them healthy. But the really big one, it actively encourages the growth of new neurons and synapses.
New neurons, like actually growing new brain cells.
Yeah, the process is called neurogenesis. And the research is clear. Exercise stimulates this. And it happens most actively in a specific part of the brain, the hippocampus.
Right, the hippocampus. Okay, remind us, why is the hippocampus so important? Why does boosting it matter so much?
Because the hippocampus is basically ground zero for memory and learning, forming new memories, taking in complex information, even spatial navigation, that's hippocampus territory.
So a bigger, healthier hippocampus means better memory, better learning capacity.
Directly. Study after study shows a really clear link. People who are more physically active tend to have measurably larger hippocampal volumes. It's a physical change.
Wow. Okay, so if you're, say, studying for an exam, learning a new skill for work, trying to remember names. Exercise is literally upgrading the hardware for that.
That's a perfect way to put it. You're improving the actual machinery of memory.
So let's make this practical. I'm sitting at my desk, totally stuck on a problem, staring blankly. Instead of forcing it or getting another coffee.
Get up, go for a brisk 10, 15-minute walk, even just some jumping jacks or stretching.
And that's not just a break, it's actually helping me solve the problem when I get back.
It really is. You're switching strategies. Instead of just consuming something like caffeine, you're producing something BDNF. You're optimizing blood flow, stimulating that hippocampus. You come back literally better equipped to tackle the task. It's cognitive optimization through movement. Hashtag tag tag 1.2, hitting the mental reset button, stress reduction.
Okay, boosting brain power is huge. Now, let's flip to the defensive side. Stress. Modern life just throws so much at us, doesn't it? Deadlines, notifications, screens. It builds up.
Oh, absolutely. It creates this accumulated tension. You feel it physically, right?
Yeah.
Shoulders tight, jaw clenched.
Definitely. So how does exercise act as a release for all that?
Think of it as the best physiological release valve you have. All that stress energy, that potential energy stored in your muscles. Movement lets you expend it in a controlled, safe way. It just dissipates it.
Okay, that makes intuitive sense. You burn off the jitters. But I want to push on the mechanism a bit. Sometimes, like a really intense workout weights, sprints, my heart is pounding, I'm breathing hard, my body releases cortisol, right? The stress hormone. Doesn't that kind of add stress initially?
That's a really smart question. And yes, you're right. Intense exercise does temporarily spike cortisol. It is a physical stressor.
So how does that square with stress reduction? Seems contradictory.
Here's the key. Exercise trains your stress response system. Specifically, something called the HPA axis, the hypothalamic pituitary adrenal axis. It's the network that controls cortisol release and your whole reaction to stress.
Okay, so you're saying the short-term stress of exercise makes the whole system better at handling other stress.
Exactly. You're deliberately exposing the HPA axis to a manageable, acute stressor, the workout. And this teaches it to recover more quickly, to return to baseline faster afterwards.
Like practicing.
Kind of, yeah. Over time, with regular exercise, your overall resting HPA activity tends to decrease. This means you become physiologically less reactive to everyday stressors, that annoying email, the traffic jam. You just handle it better. You're building stress resilience at a biological level.
Okay, that HPA training makes sense. What about the immediate feeling, though, that post-workout calm? What chemicals are giving us that?
Right, so beyond the HPA stuff, movement directly influences key neurotransmitters. We're talking mainly about serotonin and norepinephrine.
The mood regulators.
Pretty much. Exercise prompts the brain to produce and better regulate serotonin, which is vital for feelings of well-being, stability. It kind of puts the brakes on anxiety.
And norepinephrine, I thought that was more fight or flight.
It can be, but when it's modulated through exercise, it actually helps with focus and processing emotions in a more balanced way. It's not just about fight or flight. It's also about attention and alertness in a good way.
So let me recap. We get the physical release of tension, the HPA axis training making us less jumpy overall, and this bath of stabilizing brain chemicals.
It's a triple threat against stress. You're not just distracting yourself. You are fundamentally changing your internal chemistry and your body's stress handling machinery. The physical act changes the mental state. It's body moving the mind.
Powerful stuff.
Yeah, and that leads us perfectly into this next area. We've talked about the immediate cognitive boosts and stress defense. Now let's look longer term, how exercise builds deeper emotional resilience and really changes how you see yourself.
Okay, resilience. Let's start with mood. Because that's often the first thing people notice, isn't it? Feeling better almost immediately. Hashtag tag tag 2.1, the ultimate mood booster.
Absolutely visceral. And the sources we looked at really emphasize you don't need to run a marathon. Even just 10 minutes can make a difference.
10 minutes. Like what?
Dancing in your kitchen, a quick jog on the spot, skipping rope, a few sets of push-ups, something to get the heart rate up a bit. It can lift your mood almost instantly.
And everyone immediately thinks endorphins, right? The famous runner's high. But maybe that's become a bit of a cliche. Is there more to it?
There definitely is. Endorphins are part of it, yeah, mostly related to blocking pain signals. But for that deeper, more sustained feeling of calm, almost euphoria and reduced anxiety,
Hmm?
we need to talk about something else.
What's that?
The endocannabinoid system.
Endocannabinoid. Okay, that sounds interesting. Like cannabis?
Well, related, yeah. Your body produces its own cannabinoids, endocannabinoids, and sustained, moderate to vigorous aerobic exercise triggers their release.
And what do these endocannabinoids do?
They interact with the same receptors in your brain that THC from cannabis does, but it's your body's natural version. And honestly, they seem to be much more responsible for that lasting post-exercise glow, that feeling of well-being and significantly reduced anxiety than endorphins are.
Wow. So it's not just masking pain, it's actively generating calm and positivity through this separate system. That feels like a big piece of the puzzle.
It really is. It's not just a fleeting high. It's a genuine chemical recalibration towards stability.
And this stability, it helps long term too. You mentioned anxiety and depression.
Hugely. Regular exercise is increasingly recognized as a powerful tool, sometimes as effective as medication or therapy for mild to moderate cases. It's incredibly holistic.
Oh, so beyond the endocannabinoids and serotonin.
Well, think about it. It helps clear mental fog, as we said. It releases that stored physical tension. But there's another angle, inflammation.
Inflammation.
Hmm?
How does that connect to mood? I usually think of it with like a sprained ankle.
Right, but there's growing evidence linking chronic low-grade systemic inflammation throughout the body to mood disorders like depression and anxiety. And exercise. It's a potent anti-inflammatory.
So moving reduces this body-wide inflammation, which in turn helps stabilize mood.
That seems to be a major pathway. Plus, think about the psychological aspect we touched on, that sense of accomplishment, of taking control. When you're struggling with feelings of helplessness, which often comes with depression, proving to yourself daily that you can show up, move your body, achieve something, that sense of agency is crucial.
That feeling of, I did this, I showed up for myself, that's resilience right there.
It's physiological proof you can influence how you feel. And believing that changes everything. Hashtag tag tag 2.2 building strength, inside and out.
Okay, so mood boost, anti-inflammatory, sense of control,
Yep.
massive benefits. Now let's talk strength. Obviously, exercise builds muscle, improves posture. We see that. But you argue it builds mental strength simultaneously.
Inseparably. I'd argue this is maybe the biggest payoff from consistent effort. Think about when it gets tough.
Like that last rep you barely think you can finish, or wanting to quit halfway through a run.
Exactly those moments. When you push through that discomfort, when your body is screaming stop, but your mind says one more or keep going, you're not just working your muscles, you're training your brain.
Training it how?
You're actively practicing overcoming discomfort. You're practicing delaying gratification, choosing the harder thing now for a future benefit. You're building grit.
Grit, okay. And that mental muscle, does it transfer? Like, does pushing through a tough workout help me deal with a tough day at work?
Absolutely. The research strongly suggests this discipline spills over. That ability to push through physical discomfort. It strengthens the same mental pathways you use to, say, stick with a complex project, handle difficult feedback, or resist distractions.
So the voice in my head saying, keep going during a workout is the same one I need when facing a challenge elsewhere.
It's strengthening that very voice. You're building resilience against the urge to quit in any context.
That reframes the struggle during exercise, doesn't it? It's not just pain, it's purposeful training for life.
It really is. And think about the consistency aspect. Showing up for your workout even when you don't feel like it, when you're tired, stressed, busy, that act of prioritizing your commitment over your immediate mood.
Yeah? What about it?
That, according to the sources, is one of the most powerful forms of self-respect you can build. Each workout is literally a promise you keep to yourself.
A promise kept. I like that.
And when you repeatedly prove to yourself that you are reliable, that you follow through for you, your inner confidence just has to grow. It's inevitable. Hashtag tag tag 2.3, cultivating inner confidence.
Okay, that flows perfectly into confidence. Building on that self-respect, you're saying exercise shifts where our confidence comes from.
Yes, a really crucial shift away from just, how things look on the surface towards something much more real, capability.
So less about how do I look and more about what can I do.
Exactly. When you regularly move your body, you start appreciating it for its strength, its endurance, its ability to learn new skills to carry you through the world. It creates this really powerful intrinsic connection. Your self-worth gets rooted in function, not just form.
It's a shift from having a body to actively using and appreciating your body.
Perfectly put. And every single session, whether you lift a bit heavier, run a bit further, or just complete the workout you planned, is concrete proof. Proof of your capability, your growth, your discipline.
And that proof builds a different kind of confidence.
A much more robust kind. It's internally generated. Psychologists call it having an internal locus of control. Your sense of worth isn't dependent on external validation, compliments, likes on social media, what someone else thinks. It comes from your actions, your effort. It's unshakable because you built it yourself.
Right, not based on shifting sands, but on solid ground you laid yourself.
Precisely. And once you have that core self-generated confidence, it can't help but spill over into everything else you do.
How so? How does feeling physically capable change how I interact with, say, people at work?
Think about it. When you know deep down that you can handle physical challenges, that you have mental resilience because you practice it daily, how does that change how you carry yourself?
I guess more upright, more grounded, less easily intimidated.
Exactly. You communicate more clearly, maybe more assertively. You present yourself with more authority, perhaps without even realizing it. You might find yourself being bolder in pursuing goals, speaking up in meetings.
Because there's this underlying belief, I can handle hard things.
Yes. Because you handle hard things this morning in your workout, that knowledge becomes part of your presence. It's integrated strength, physical, mental, and emotional, all feeding each other.
Okay, mind, emotions, confidence check. Let's shift now. Let's go under the hood into the engine room. The core physiological stuff that impacts long-term health, vitality, longevity.
Right. The foundational health benefits. Sometimes we overlook these because they seem, well, obvious, but the mechanisms are key. And maybe nowhere more so than the heart. Hashtag tag tag 3.1, fuel for the heart muscle.
The heart, okay.
Well,
Simple
yeah.
premise. It's a muscle. It needs work.
It's a pump, yeah. And like any muscle, use it or lose it, essentially. It needs consistent challenge to stay strong and, importantly, efficient.
And the payoffs here are, well, they're life-saving, aren't they?
Yeah.
We're talking about tackling some of the biggest killers in modern society.
Absolutely. Regular physical activity hits several major targets. It significantly lowers your resting blood pressure. It improves circulation dramatically, making your blood vessels more flexible and healthy, which is called improving endothelial function.
Endothelial function, so healthier pipes, basically.
Healthier, more responsive pipes, exactly. And the big results: massively reduced risk of heart disease, heart attack, stroke. We are literally training the heart muscle.
Okay, train the heart. How does moving my body make my heart work less hard when I'm just sitting here? That seems like the goal, right? Efficiency.
That's precisely the goal. Consistent aerobic exercise increases the heart's stroke volume,
Stroke volume, meaning
how much blood the heart pumps out with each single beat. A stronger, better trained heart pushes out more blood per beat.
so it doesn't have to beat as often to circulate the same amount of oxygen.
Exactly. Which means your resting heart rate goes down over the course of days, months, years, decades. That's vastly less wear and tear on your heart muscle. It's like preventative maintenance on the most critical engine you have.
Makes total sense. And the good news here, from what our sources said, is that you don't need to become an ultra marathoner to get these heart benefits right.
Not even close. This is really important. The research consistently shows huge benefits from just moderate intensity activity.
Like what kind of level?
Brisk walking like you're late for a meeting, cycling at a steady pace, swimming, things that get your heart rate up, get you breathing a bit harder, but you could still probably hold a conversation.
And how much?
The standard guideline is around 150 minutes a week. That's like 30 minutes, 5 days a week. Totally achievable. It's the consistency that matters for gently challenging and strengthening the heart, not necessarily brutal intensity every time.
Okay, heart health is crucial. Let's zoom out now to the bigger picture. Longevity, living longer. The data seems crystal clear. People who exercise regularly live longer.
They do, but here's the critical point the sources really drive home.
Yeah.
It's not just about adding years to your life. It's about adding life to your years.
Quality of life, right. Staying functional, independent.
That's the real prize. Maintaining mobility, being able to look after yourself, having the energy to enjoy things well into your 70s, 80s, even 90s. That's what exercise helps preserve.
So what are the key physical things exercise protects against as we age? What keeps people independent?
Two huge ones are muscle loss and bone fragility.
Okay, muscle loss first. That's sarcopenia, right?
Yes, sarcopenia. It's the gradual age-related loss of muscle mass and strength. And it's devastating. Leads to weakness, poor balance, increased risk of falls, which is often the start of a major decline in independence.
And exercise, particularly strength training, is the best defense.
It's pretty much the only proven defense against significant sarcopenia. You have to actively challenge the muscles to keep them strong.
Okay, then bone fragility, osteoporosis, bones getting weak and breaking easily. How does exercise help there? Seems less obvious than muscle.
It works through a principle called Wolff's Law.
Wolff's Law.
Yeah, simple concept. Bone adapts to the loads placed upon it. When you do weight-bearing or impact exercise, lifting weights, jumping, running, even brisk walking, you put mechanical stress on your bones.
And that stress is good.
It's essential. That stress signals specialized bone cells, osteocytes, to lay down more mineral matrix, making the bone denser and stronger. Use it or lose it applies to bone too. If you don't load the bones, they gradually weaken.
So movement is literally telling your bones, stay strong, we need you.
Exactly. It's the best insurance policy against debilitating fractures later in life.
Okay, muscle, bone. What about the immune system? Does exercise help keep that active as we get older too?
It really seems to. Good circulation, which exercise promotes, helps immune cells travel through the body more efficiently. They can patrol better, find and deal with threats faster.
So better surveillance.
Kind of, yeah. Now, extreme overtraining can temporarily suppress immunity, we should say that. But consistent, moderate activity acts more like an immune regulator. It helps keep things balanced, potentially making you more resilient against infections and maybe even some chronic diseases linked to immune dysfunction. It's really comprehensive preventative care. Hashtag 3.3 regulating sleep quality.
All right, let's talk sleep, the ultimate repair and reset cycle. You mentioned sometimes if you're tossing and turning, it might not be your mattress. Maybe your body just didn't do enough.
That's a great way to think about it. Exercise helps regulate sleep through a couple of key ways. First, energy balance.
Meaning you use up energy, so you need to rest.
Pretty much. Physical activity builds up what's called homeostatic sleep pressure. It's the natural biological drive for sleep that accumulates throughout the day. If you've physically exerted yourself, that drive is stronger. Your body has genuinely earned its rest.
So an underutilized body might just not feel tired enough for deep sleep. Makes sense. What's the other mechanism?
Temperature regulation. When you exercise, especially moderately or intensely, your core body temperature rises.
Yeah, you feel warm.
Right. Then, after you start, your body starts to cool down. That post-exercise drop in core temperature is actually a powerful signal to your brain.
A signal for what?
A signal that it's time to prepare for sleep. It mimics the natural temperature dip that happens in the evening and helps initiate sleep onset. Exercise basically helps enhance that natural cool down signal.
Interesting. And what do regular exercisers typically report about their sleep?
Consistently, they report falling asleep faster, what's called reduced sleep latency. They tend to spend more time in the deeper, more restorative stages of sleep, like REM and deep sleep. And, crucially, they wake up feeling more refreshed and alert.
So better quality sleep, not just quantity.
Exactly. It helps reset your body's internal clocks, your circadian rhythms, and just ensures your physical state is properly aligned with your need for rest.
But there's timing issue, right? Working out intensely right before bed probably isn't ideal.
Definitely not. That's the big caveat. You get that adrenaline surge, cortisol might still be elevated, your core temperature is high, all things that interfere with falling asleep.
So what's the rule of thumb?
Generally, try to avoid high-intensity exercise within about 3 hours of your intended bedtime. Late evening is fine for gentle stuff, stretching, maybe some light yoga, a slow walk, but save the intense workouts for earlier in the day if sleep is a priority.
Okay, we've gone deep on the internal stuff. Brain, mood, heart, bones, sleep. Amazing benefits. For this last section, let's look outwards. How does making movement a priority change our external world, our relationships, our whole vibe, really?
Yeah, the ripple effects. It's fascinating how personal movement translates externally. And one surprising area is often relationships. Hashtag 4.1 strengthening relationships.
How does exercise make you more sociable? Seems counterintuitive sometimes, like going to the gym is a solo thing.
It can be, but think about shared activity.
Yeah.
Group fitness classes, team sports, hiking with friends, even just regularly walking with a partner or neighbor.
Ah, the shared effort thing.
Exactly. There's a powerful bonding that happens through shared physical effort, maybe a bit of shared struggle and mutual accomplishment. It builds connection.
Okay, that makes sense for exercising with others. But what about just me exercising regularly makes me better in my existing relationships, even if I work out alone?
Absolutely. This is maybe the more profound connection. Think back to everything we just discussed. When you consistently feel better, happier, calmer, less stressed, more energetic, how does that change how you show up for other people?
I guess. More patient, more present, less likely to snap.
Precisely. You have more emotional bandwidth. When you're not constantly battling internal fatigue or stress, you have more resources available for others. You can listen more actively, offer genuine support, handle disagreements with more perspective.
Because you're not running it onto yourself.
Exactly that. You're refilling your own cup through movement, so you have more to give. It really boils down to a simple principle. Stable, positive energy tends to attract and nurture stable, positive relationships. Your internal state dictates the quality of your interactions. Exercise helps you proactively manage that internal state. You become a better friend, partner, parent, colleague. Hashtag 4.2, making life more vibrant.
Okay, better relationships through better energy. Love that. This last point feels more philosophical. Challenging the whole view of exercise as a chore.
Yeah, it's about fundamentally reframing it, moving away from seeing exercise as like punishment for eating or something you have to do to avoid negative consequences,
And shifting towards,
towards seeing it as a celebration of what your body can actually do.
how so?
Think about the sheer range of experiences movement enables. Hiking up a mountain and seeing the view, dancing with abandon, swimming in the ocean, playing tag with your kids, even just feeling strong carrying groceries. Movement is how we interact with and experience the physical world.
So it's connecting us to life itself in a way.
Absolutely. It's a constant physical reminder that you're alive, capable, resilient. It connects you to nature, to the present moment, to the sheer joy of having a body that works. It makes life feel more vibrant.
Moving from I have to burn calories to, wow, I get to use this amazing body to experience things.
That's the shift. And the most crucial thing to land on, wrapping all this up, is that achieving these incredible benefits doesn't require some kind of superhuman effort or perfection.
Right. Consistency over intensity.
Consistency is everything. The sources are really clear on this. And also, resources shouldn't be a barrier. You absolutely do not need a fancy gym membership or expensive gear.
So what do you need?
You need your body, and the commitment to move it regularly in ways that provide that beneficial stimulus we've talked about, the BDNF boost, the HPA training, the endocannabinoids, the load on your bones, walking, body weight exercises, dancing, gardening. It all counts.
That feels really empowering. Small, consistent steps matter more than occasional heroic efforts.
Massively more. It's the compound effect of those small daily investments. Hashtag IELTS, synthesis and call to action.
Wow. Okay, so let's try and pull this all together. We've covered a lot. From exercise literally changing the structure of your brain for better memory and focus,
To building chemical resilience against stress and boosting mood through things like endocannabinoids.
to the deep physiological benefits for your heart, your bones, ensuring not just longer life, but life, better quality.
Improving sleep, strengthening relationships by giving you more bandwidth, and ultimately just making life feel more vibrant. It really touches every single aspect.
It really does. So the big takeaway, the shift in perspective we wanted to achieve, it's moving away from feeling like you have to exercise, right?
Exactly. Moving away from obligation or fixing something that's broken
And moving towards.
seeing it as a profound privilege. You get to move your body today. You get to make this incredible investment in your own happiness, your confidence, your cognitive power, your future self.
That shift from have to get to feels crucial.
It's everything. That change in mindset makes consistency sustainable. So maybe the final thought to leave everyone with, think about your future self, 10, 20, 30 years down the line.
Yeah.
That future you won't look back and thank you for that one crash diet you did or that single month you killed yourself at the gym.
No, probably not.
They will thank you profoundly for the small, consistent steps you took, day after day. The walks, the stretching, the strength work. The cumulative effect of just showing up for yourself. That's what preserves your mobility, sharpens your mind, stabilizes your spirit.
It's the long game.
Mm-hmm.
And the cost of not playing that game, the cost of inaction, is just so much higher than the effort required for those small, consistent steps.
Couldn't say it better myself.
Well, this has been incredibly insightful. Thank you for joining us on the deep dive. We really hope this gives you, our listener, a fresh, scientifically grounded, and maybe motivating perspective on why moving your body truly can change everything.
It really can. Until next time.